Welcome to the Bee Trail Podcast, the podcast designed to put you on the trail to becoming exactly who you are. Episodes are short, and the wisdom coming through is channeled from the Librarians, a group of entities I have been working with my whole life. Sit down, sink in, here we go. Today's episode is on ascension. This is a big one. We all hear about raising our vibration, increasing our frequency, becoming more spiritual, having things that happen in our everyday lives be less impactful. But what does that really mean when you hear about ascending into the higher realms, when you really think about raising your vibration? The Librarians recently went very biblical with me, and they showed me the parable of Jesus and his death, dying on the cross. And they showed it to me in terms of ascension. Because yes, after his death, as the story goes, he ascended into the heavens. But what they were showing me went a little bit deeper than that. What they were showing me was an elevation of vibration, an elevation of frequency, a purifying of his energy, and a letting go of all of the densities, all of the heaviness of the world. And not specifically and not only by means of death, but by means of consciously letting the bottom drop out, letting the heaviness drop out, of being willing to let go of people, situations, places, things that had a heavier and a dense vibration. And they showed me all of the things that led up to Jesus's physical death, and how that was really a letting go of the betrayal. First and foremost, Judas betrayed Jesus. Let that just sink in and feel that for a while. The heaviness of what it would be like to have one of your disciples, one of the people closest to you in the world, actually betray you. There's a lot of pain that comes with that. And in order to ascend, Jesus had to let go of the pain, to not get mired down in getting even, and telling other people what a horrible thing Judas did to him. He didn't even really have time to process, accept, or even forgive. He literally had to move through all of that instantaneously in order to ascend. Carrying the cross on his back, wearing the crown of thorns, the nails in his hands and his feet, all very physically heavy, physically painful. Yet Jesus ascended by not focusing on that. Yes, it happened, but just like the betrayal, it was something that he had to let go of in order to ascend. So when we hear that Jesus died for us, the librarian showed me that with a slightly skewed perspective. That he showed us how we too can ascend. How we don't have to hold the heaviness of a betrayal. How we don't have to hold the heaviness of injustice or physical maladies or pain. How we instantaneously can choose to let all of that drop out and to allow ourselves to ascend. I realize this is a lot to think about. And I also realize that if you're anything like me, the choice to simply ascend might not even feel relevant in this moment because there's too many thoughts. But what about this? And then that's not fair for here. And then what about that? And then how would I? And all the librarians asked of me, of you, was to notice. To notice how it seems so unrealistic, so impossible, and to just notice all of those layers of belief. That can't really happen. That won't really happen. That's not fair. That lets so-and-so off the hook. To simply be with that and notice. To compare and contrast what Jesus had to do in a very short period of time in letting things go in order to ascend. So you could ask yourself, what do I need to do? What do I choose to do in order to let some of that heaviness go and to ascend into my own version of heaven? Join me again next week, where we're going to talk about boundaries. And in the meantime, go to www.nakedselfworth.com and download your Sparkle After Betrayal Recovery Guide.